What is soil? Have you ever dug a hole in the ground? What did you remove to make the hole? Soil. Sometimes people call it dirt, but a scientist calls the layer of diggable material that covers planet Earth soil. What is soil? If you pick up a handful of soil and look at it closely, you might be able to see and feel what soil is made of. Soil is mostly made of several sizes of rock. You might see pebbles and smaller pieces of gravel. Soil usually contains sand. Particles of sand are really tiny rocks. Some pieces of rock are even smaller than grains of sand. Smaller pieces are called silt. The smallest pieces of rock are clay particles. Clay particles are too small to see, but you can feel them. Clay feels slippery when it is wet. So soil is a mixture of different sized rocks, pebbles, gravel, particles of sand, and even smaller particles of silt and clay, along with water and air. Rocks, air, and water are earth materials, but there is more to soil than earth materials. Digging into soil. Rock size chart. Particle name pebble, gravel, sand, silt, clay, which is invisible to the bare eye. Soil is mostly made of rock in several sizes along with water and air. Soil also contains organic material. Organic material is the remains of dead plants and animals. Plants send their roots into the soil and animals dig into the soil. When plants and animals die, their remains become part of the soil. Plants and animals decay into tiny pieces called humus. Humus provides nutrients for plants. Humus also helps the soil retain water. What is an animal that lives in soil? Worms. Worms are good for soil and help plants grow. Worms burrow through the soil. As they move, worms mix the soil and make passageways for air and water. Worm waste also adds nutrients that are good for soil and plants. A worm in soil enriched with humus. Not all soils are alike. Some kinds of soil have more humus. Some soils have more clay. Some have more sand, pebbles, and gravel. So I would like you to answer these two questions in a notebook, and please send them to Seesaw or by email. So, question number 1, what differences do you see in the soils shown above? So what difference do you see in this soil as compared to this soil? And differences means more than one, please. So don't just give me one difference. Give me 2 or 3 differences or more if you can. So how is the soil on the left different than the soil on the right? And number 2, where do you think the soils are found? So where do you think this soil would be found? Look at what it's made of. Look what's growing in it to give you some clues. And where do you think this soil would be found? Look what it's made of. So answer the 2 questions, write them in a notebook, take a picture of them and put them on Seesaw or email. And next you will watch a video that tells a little bit more about soil.
What is soil? A natural resource is something that is found in nature and can be used by all living organisms on Earth. For example, water, air, plants, animals, etc. Soil is also an example of a natural resource. Let us learn about soil in detail. Soil has living things. It also has non-living things. And it has dead things as well. It is home to living things, worms and insects. It's made up of broken down rocks, non-living. And it has dead plants and animals called humus. Soil also has minerals, air, and water in it. Soil has several levels. At the bottom is solid rock. This layer is called bedrock. On top of it, the solid rock is breaking up. This is parent material. It has broken pieces of the parent rock. The next level has rock pieces, clay, and soil. It is subsoil. Deep plant roots come to this layer of soil looking for water. Earthworms can be seen here. On top of all is soft and crumbly soil. It is a few inches thick. This is topsoil. It is where we plant things and animals live. There are different kinds of soil. Some soil is sandy. It's made mostly of sand. It is light brown. It feels gritty. The pieces don't stick together well. They have large holes in between. A lot of water passes through it. Some soil is clay. It is reddish in color. It feels wet and sticky. The pieces stick together and don't let water pass through. Some soil is loam. It is dark brown or black. It feels smooth. It holds some water and lets some pass through. This is the best for growing plants. What do we need soil for? Of course, plants need soil to grow. Soil helps to hold plants in place so they don't get washed away by water or swept away by wind. Plants also get their water and some minerals through the soil. These help them to grow. Then, animals feed on the plants. And humans eat both plants and animals. So, soil is very important to us. Geologists. How do we know so much about the Earth? How do we know about rocks and soil? Geologists study these things. They study the things that Earth is made of. They try to understand how the Earth formed. They study volcanoes and earthquakes. They study caves and fossils. They study the ocean floor and oil deposits. They study rock formations and magnets. Geologists get to learn about many interesting things. Would you like to be a geologist? Now let us summarize what we have learned.